It's easy to hear this word grace and think, that sounds heavenly. But how can we be graceful in a world that's so pervaded by ego consciousness running amok, acting from a consciousness of fear and hate and polarization? One thing about grace that's very curious is that while it's lofty and heavenly, it's also very deeply practical. And ego relaxation is the practice that brings grace alive in your direct experience. And it wants to be practiced not just on the meditation cushion, but in and amidst the ordinariness of our lives, even while we watch the news. So you might want to try this. Before you switch on the news or social media reel, take a moment to first ground yourself in that which is never rocked and does not change. Just taking a breath and leaning into that question, what within me is never rocked and does not change, might lead you into a felt sense that you exist, we all exist, within something so much deeper and more intelligent than our mind can name or even fathom. You might find it helpful to bring your awareness down into the palms of your feet and really take in the fact of the ground underneath you. Take in the fact of this exquisite earth that provides so much for us, that invites us just to be here, just to relax and receive the immensity of the support there really is to drop out of your commentating mind and just be here, simply, directly, right now. So when you feel sufficiently settled, only then turn on the news or the social media reel. And let yourself just have your experience. You don't have to not feel sad, because it often is sad when we see so many people suffering the devastating impacts of climate change and flooding and wildfire. It's sad when we see there's so much poverty. It can be very disappointing to behold corporate greed running unchecked and some of our politicians behaving without integrity. Yet, what if we don't contribute to the polarization by hating the hateful, judging the judgment, descending into despair? What if we consider this, as Marianne Williamson first articulated, as humanity's prayer list? If we don't get caught up by the appearance of who's the good and who's the bad ones, and we open our heart to this collective suffering, something quite powerful and beautiful begins to take place in us. We relax out of our reactions and our judgments, and we find the strength to not close our heart to the difficult facts of life. We refuse to participate in the hatred. While it might be true that some of these distorted behaviors might indeed warrant an intervention, it's very clear that the important and helpful interventions are not going to come from your ego. So if we open to all of this as humanity's prayer list, and we regard it all as our collective suffering, then really the work is on being present with all of this compassionately and opening ourselves more deeply in prayer, a prayer that could go something like this. Help me stabilize in the infinite source. Open my heart to all that arises. Not be deceived by the appearances. Make me into a more grounded, wise, mature, compassionate, elegantly responsive human being. And lead me into one action that embodies this today. If you pray your version of a prayer like this, then there truly is hope for our world. Just as a tiny sprig of jasmine can powerfully uplift a whole room with its beautiful fragrance, so your graceful way of being can contribute more truth and goodness, clarity, beauty and peace to our world that needs us all right now.